It was during the 75th anniversary that I was president-elect. We invited all the old presidents. Jack Kempner was there, and we had it in Butte. It was the 75th, and it was a fun time. We had a lot of people show up just for that one day when we had the comedian come in. You know, the main thing that stands out is just all the different people that I met throughout the society, because that's what our profession is a people profession, and getting to meet all of the different people from different firms. It was just, I learned a lot. Being ex officio, and then I made a lot of board meetings because I was also 6 years on council, so I had to go to board meetings because of that. But it was, here again, it was just a learning experience. And then just seeing the interaction between the different people, and that it's acceptable to agree or disagree, and that you have a good discussion. And I learned a lot about that in the board meetings. It's okay to disagree, but you discuss it out, and then you come to a mutual understanding. And you know, it was always fun to see, and everybody was friends afterwards. So. Well, you know, when I was on council, we had a lot of special meetings during the time I was on council, because we were going through the whether to require 5 years and we or not, and that was, I mean, that just took forever to get through council, and where we could then get a vote to the membership and whatnot. And that was, I think, the biggest issue, and that stands out. You know, I really wasn't sure whether we should require another year of school, you know, for people, but then the more and more that I heard and listened, I think it made sense, because then we had a better rounded individual coming in to the CPA field, because the initial concept of it was that you weren't going to get another year of accounting, you were going to get other credits from other areas, which would make you a more rounded person, I think, which then also makes you better able to deal with people. I think it was a good thing. I really do. I think it was a very good thing that we did it. I think I think it makes up for a lot of things that we don't have anymore. Like before, you used to like serve 2 years, you know, with a firm before you could even be a CPA, you know, that type of thing. But I think we have smarter people coming into the firms when they come in, and they are learning quick. They pick up things quicker. So I think it's been a good thing. By mistake. I got out of the Marine Corps in 1970, and I had to go back to school because I'd interrupted school. And I came back to school, and when I got back to school, I had taken an accounting class that I basically had an incomplete in, which surprised me that I had an incomplete, because I didn't like the class and I was never going to take another accounting class. But I had to retake the class within a certain amount of time starting school again, or it turned to an F, and I couldn't afford an F on my GPA because I was going to go into computer science. So I retook the class, and I had an instructor, and his name was Don Giacomino, and he was an excellent instructor, and he just opened my eyes to accounting, and I never looked back. That's how I got into accounting. You know, I think one of the main ones that I would have to say is a competitor now. Tony DeLello was a real important person when I got into public accounting, because I didn't initially start in public accounting. And the firm that I joined after, I went and worked in California as an internal auditor when I got out of school. And Jack Kempner, that's the only time that he said something that wasn't true, is he said, you'll never get into public accounting if you don't go in when you first get out of college. But I didn't. I went in internal auditing for Firestone Tire and Rubber Company. And when I ended up having a child down there, I wanted to get back to Montana. And I went to work for a CPA firm called Finley, Renman, and Misville. And Tony DeLello was working there, and that's where I met him. And we've been friends ever since. He's had a lot of influence on me. And I have to give all the credit in the world to Ward Junkemeyer on that, because in our firm, he was my biggest mentor. He helped me understand how to deal with partners and problems, and I could always go talk to him about anything, and I knew that it stayed with him, and he always gave me good counsel. I think George Campanella and Ward Junkemeyer, they always encouraged the young staff to be involved in the CPA Society, because they always felt that the more you gave to it, the more you got out of it. And I found that out at an early time, that they were very true. It's got to be technology, and I think it's going to be that in the future. Back when I went to work for Finley, Renman, and Misville, in the summer we spent our time redoing the depreciation schedules and updating them for the next year by hand, because it took a lot of time and it was all by hand, and that's what we did during the summer. A lot of that as well as other stuff. But and tax returns were all done by hand, so if you made too many mistakes, you had to start over again, because the erasers would sit there and screw up the paper. I think with technology, you also have to learn not to forget about being an individual, and that you need to keep your individual skills and not just have your technical skills, because our profession is a people profession, and you need to learn to deal with people on a one-to-one basis, not over the phone or the internet or whatever. I think face-to-face, you have to learn the skills to do that, to relate to them. And I think that's the thing about our profession, is we have to pass down what has been given to us by other people, and that's how we continue to grow. So I've tried to do that. I remember, you'll probably be interviewing him later, Jim Gallipo. I hired him. I gave him his first CPA job, and he later became a partner in our firm and a president of the society. So yes, it was a very good hire. Besides relating with the people I worked with, is helping clients. Nothing was as rewarding as studying a problem for a client and giving them some advice. It may not have been advice they wanted or not, but if they followed it, when they got the desired outcome that they wanted by following it, it just it made you realize you were making a difference in their lives. Well, what I would say is that the thing about accounting is, even if you don't go into public accounting, because public accounting isn't for everybody, but if you have an accounting degree, you will be able to get a job anywhere. I don't care how small the town is or how big it is. If you want to work, you can find a job. And that's what I would tell people. But for the most part, we're a people industry, and we have to be able to deal with people. We're not just bean counters.